For the past year and a half, we have focused our energies on responding to the devastation, economic uncertainty, and tragic loss of life brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, we are meeting with renewed optimism and an eye toward the future, not just our next year of recovery, but our next decade ahead. We are in position to look forward in many ways to the leadership of President Biden in wresting the nation from the depths of the crisis this winter. The President worked with Congress to pass the American Rescue Plan, which quickly began to deploy vaccines, get workers back into jobs, and support Americans with additional rounds of stimulus checks. Now, the administration is encouraging us to think longer term with a budget proposal that lays out the commitments that we must make for our future and our children's future. The administration's thoughtful approach to economic recovery and renewal should be of no surprise given the central role of our guest today. Secretary Janet Yellen. Secretary Yellen is one of the brightest, most accomplished policymakers it has been my pleasure to know during my time in government. She is the first person in American history to have led the White House Council of Economic Advisors, the Federal Reserve Board, and the Treasury Department. She is someone whose advice I have sought out in the past on many occasions and whose leadership I am counting on as Congress embarks on this historic round of lawmaking. I can't think of a more qualified person to be before us today. Rebuilding our nation's infrastructure will be a critical element of our plan to build back better. High-quality infrastructure from roads, bridges, maintenance to water systems, electric grid, continue to be the backbone of our world-leading economy. And infrastructure investment isn't just economic stimulus, it's also workforce development. It's climate change mitigation as well. Building on our members' work with the Green Act, the President's American Jobs Plan includes tax credits for clean energy, for energy-efficient home building, for carbon capture, for zero-emission vehicles, and for many other critical investments. I look forward to discussing the importance of these investments with the Secretary today. Of course, no matter how sophisticated our public infrastructure may be, many Americans will still struggle to fully participate in the workforce and in public life if they are struggling to take care of their families at home. That's why it's so important that we pair these big infrastructure investments with proposals to support our human infrastructure that are contained in the American Families Plan. These proposals are designed to promote opportunity and inclusion by making significant investments in the Earned Income Tax Credit, the Child Tax Credit, the Child and Dependent Care Credit, paid family and medical leave, and child care. These programs will make it easier for millions of Americans to balance work and family. I'm grateful to Secretary Yellen, the Treasury Department, and the IRS for helping to get us through the last round of stimulus checks as they went out the door smoothly. And I know we can count on the same level of precision and care as we expand this set of vital initiatives. One matter that I know our members will agree on today is that we should empower the IRS to collect whatever taxes are legally owed. Years of evidence has made clear that there's no better bang for our legislative dollar than fully funding the IRS. For every $1 spent on tax administration, we return almost $5 to spend on infrastructure investments and social programs. That's why the President has proposed to increase the budget of the IRS to ensure compliance, administer new programs like the Advanced Child Tax Credit, and to improve customer service for all taxpayers. As my comments have indicated, we have many important policy challenges facing this Congress and this committee, and it is in collaboration with your agency that we hope to address them, Madam Secretary. I am grateful for your partnership as we work together to build a greater economic opportunity for the American people. Before I conclude, I do want to note that our colleagues on the other side of the aisle will likely present a different view of the reality today. There are, from time to time, many strong disagreements. They will say that the Biden administration wants to increase taxes on the middle class, even though that is not true. The President does not support any new direct taxes on people making less than $400,000, and neither do I. They'll say that the Biden budget and our Democratic proposals will kill jobs when in actuality, investing in infrastructure and technologies of the future are poised to create millions of good jobs that pay well. I am sure that they will say that tax cuts are still the answer, and our response would be the liquidity that Democrats provided with direct stimulus payments and emergency unemployment benefits are what prevented a worse recession, lifted the economy, and helped businesses stay afloat by giving American consumers enough money to continue buying goods, simultaneously creating supply and demand. You'll hear arguments that inflation is going to spiral out of control. Largely, economists agree that the recent price movements are temporary and will likely abate once supply chains catch up with the recent surge in demand. Fear of the inflation boogeyman should not deter the decisive action that President Biden has rightly called for. Madam Secretary, you of all people are equipped to set the record straight when these claims arise. I thank you very much for joining us today.